I just wanted to make sure you guys know that YouMap for Coaches is this program. The doors open on Monday. It's a 6-week small group course where you're going to go through your YouMap. I think you've seen a lot of this already, but I can answer your questions if you have them. Where at the end of it, you're going to know what your strengths are, know how to align to your values, your skills, your interests. And it's not just about knowing it, but you're going to actually consider like what it would be like to actually apply it. The feedback that I shared, I crowdsourced the feedback, and you can read what other coaches have said about that experience. I've shared that link last week. I'll share it again so you can see it. But that's really right. YouMap for Coaches is this thing that I believe very deeply in, and I think every coach should have their YouMap. And YouMap for Coaches lives within this base camp that we have called Misfit to Maverick. And I just wanted to, I want you to know that that too is a part of your experience if you choose to join us, or join me, if you choose to sign up. Misfit to Maverick is a community of coaches. We use Mighty Networks as our like hub, our virtual hub. And it is an incredibly special place to be because you are, oh, I'm like feeling it. Just a really beautiful place to be. There's some really beautiful people there. And I just couldn't have asked for like a more supportive and kind space for coaches who want to be themselves and be encouraged to be themselves and to work from their own gifts, and for it to not feel like a contest or like you have to be anywhere other than where you're at. And you're encouraged to do things your own way, and people are giving and they're kind, and you can ask for help and you can share what you're learning. It works because we're willing to share. And so when you're in YouMap for Coaches, that's actually like a little corner of our base camp. So you also get to be a part of Misfit to Maverick. And it was really important to me to share that because it's just a lovely space. So as part of that, there coming up in September and October are some incredible guest teachers. My co-pilot, her name is Patty. She's the systems person and really good about, knows how stuff works. So she's actually alpha testing some classes that she wants to teach out in the world. And I'm like, come do it for the Mavericks. So she's teaching a class in September about Canva. So if you wanted to use Canva, she's going to teach a class about that. In October, she's teaching a class about ConvertKit, if you're interested in using that for emails. November, she's teaching a class on Acuity. So that's coming up. And again, when you join YouMap for Coaches in this round, you will be in Misfit to Maverick for at least September and October. And then you can decide if you'd like to stay a part of it through November and beyond. We also have a really incredible guest teacher coming in October. So every month there's a guest teacher. And when you join, you get access to all those archives. So, I mean, you could just, especially if you're a learner, you could just luxuriate in the really amazing classes that have been taught by some of the guest teachers that are archived there. But coming up in October, we're actually doing something a little bit different. And Anthony, you might know, I don't know if you know Dr. Amy Johnson, but she's a really amazing practitioner in the space of 3 principles stuff. But she was one of my mentors many years ago. She wrote an incredible book called The Little Book of Big Change. And she has a new book coming out on October 1st. And so for October, we're going to read her book, and then she's coming in for a workshop at the end of the month. And it's just a new way we're doing the guest teacher. It's just much more kind of immersive. And I think it's going to serve the Mavericks, not only as students and like learning through the reading, but also as practitioners and like, oh my gosh, what if we could bring some of these tools in our own work? So I'm really excited. And that's happening in October. So again, if you're in YouMap for Coaches, you'll be in Misfit to Maverick that month. And I just wanted to just make sure that that you knew that that YouMap for Coaches in and of itself is an incredible program. And if all you do is join us for that and you're like, cool, like I just wanted to know, if all you wanted to know these things about yourself and really build that literacy around your gifts, awesome. And if you are looking for a base camp, and it really is like this base camp from which we're all going and doing stuff, I'm excited for you to be a part of that as well. And we will welcome you in into that space. So can I answer any questions? Are any of you here with potential questions about either of those programs? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself. A lot of questions came in. I'll share actually that resource where I crowdsourced some answers if you haven't seen it, but maybe you have. But are there any questions from anyone here that you wanted to bring in just to bat around if you're trying to decide if it's a fit? And it's not a fit for everyone, and that's okay. If I can answer anything to help you decide, I'm happy to do that.
Probably have the question that other people have.
Sure.
Can you hear me, Allegra?
Hi, Carrie. Yes.
So help me understand. So you do the 6-week course.
Yep.
And that's like a, either do that and join Misfit to Maverick or what?
You do. So what you do is the course is thank you, Rachel. Thank you for being here. The course is, everyone who comes into Misfit to Maverick, I want to have their YouMap. And for a while, I kind of set that up. Like early on, I was teaching it as a small group. Then I made it more DIY. And now I'm shifting back to leading people through it in a group, which is what this is. So the course is, you sign up for a cohort. There are 2 cohorts. One is going to meet Thursdays at 10 and another is going to meet Fridays at 1. So hopefully one of those times works for you if you're interested. And we meet weekly for 6 weeks. And I will walk you, you will take your YouMap. I will set you up with all the assessments. We're going to go through each section together. At the same time that that's happening, you can also participate in Misfit to Maverick. Like you can be a part of that community because it all lives on, I don't know if any of you are in any Mighty networks, but it's essentially this really awesome community platform. And Misfit to Maverick is this community. And your YouMap for coaches, you're going to be like just a group within the community. So at the same time we're going through these weekly sessions together, you can also come to any event that you want. You can participate in any conversation that you want. You can enjoy the guest teacher archives. You can come to the guest teacher classes. On September 7th, we're actually doing a Maverick class called Designing Your Free Museum. So you can come and participate in everything that's going on in the base camp at the same time that we're focused on our work in the YouMap for Coaches program. You also don't have to do any of that. If you're like, I'm not looking for any communities, it's good. I just want my YouMap. That's fine too. It's kind of going to be this private little, this special little corner where you'll have access to our events and the conversation within your cohort. So you don't have to go out or explore any more than you want to. I just want to let you know that you will have access to, you'll have those 2 months included as we go through the YouMap for Coaches course.
So then can you join Misfit to Maverick and not do YouMap?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought too. So you need to do the YouMap thing first.
Yeah.
And then.
Yep. And then if you want to continue, so what'll happen is after the course, I'll just reach out and say, do you want to continue being a part of this base camp? You've had a chance. It's kind of cool. I kind of am excited about it because it's going to allow you to see how things run before deciding if you want to opt in, like, and say yes to continue being a part of it, which I think will be really cool. So yeah, at the end of it, after the 6 weeks, probably at the 8-week mark, I'll say, hey, do you want to continue staying in this base camp and being a part of, and having this space to turn to? And if you choose to, then you can just join at the monthly level. It's $99 a month, and it just allows you to stay a part of things.
Okay. And then is the price on, I haven't looked at the landing page for YouMap. It's probably on there or?
It's the course, which includes the Misfits. The first 2 months is $5.99.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let someone else answer or ask.
Of course. No, I appreciate all those questions. What'll happen is next Monday, for those of you who want to do it, all that's going to happen I'm just getting stuff ready kind of in the back end. On Monday, that same page, you'll have the 2 buttons where you can just, click join cohort. I think it's 10 or join cohort 11, and there are going to be 10 spots in each. So that it'll be the same page. You'll just actually be able to to click through on it. Other questions?
I have a logistical question.
Hey, Vicki. Hi.
So when we sign up Um, how soon will we do, like, will we do the assessments prior to the first class?
No, we're going to do the first class first so that so we can like meet and I can show you how to get the assessments done, get you all set up, and then you'll take the assessments in that first week.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done it. This is an experiment. This is where emergence, like, I've done it the other way. Like the last cohort I did, we took the assessments and then we met the first time. And I'm like, I think I want to meet first, get to know y'all as people, make sure all your questions are answered about taking the assessments. And then what's going to happen is Patty is going to send you the link, like, all right, here's your test. You'll take them over the next, 4 or 5 days before we have our second meeting.
Okay.
And
Thank
it's
you.
in that second meeting is when we'll start talking about strength. We'll be like, all right, we're going to look at your strengths results now, and then we'll weave in all of the other parts. What a great question. Christy, I see your comment. Thanks to you. I'm glad to see your face. I've missed you. Julie shares, Misfit to Maverick makes more sense once you've done your YouMap. Here's the thing, and this is to answer Kara's question. It's like, can we join Misfit to Maverick? The heart of this is that we're all working from our own strengths. And I shared, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I put this video up on YouTube, and I'll share it again this week just so you can see it. But YouMap for Coaches lives within Misfit to Maverick. YouMap for Coaches is about deepening your self-awareness around what makes you awesome and how you like to work so that you can stand up for it. So you have language for it. So you can see like, oh my gosh, this is why I do things. And this is what I need to thrive. Misfit to Maverick is then the base camp from which you start going and taking action. Right? And I said this in an email. I don't want Misfit to Maverick to feel like another thing to do. It's not something to do. It's a place to be when you're not doing. It's a place to be, to ask, what could I do next? To say, oh my gosh, I just learned this out here. In Misfit to Maverick, we're out there in the work. It works because we're trying stuff and we're living out this emergence and experimentation. And, there's a open coaching call every week, and there's a Maverick Mind every week where you get to meet with others. And it's, but it's very important that it doesn't feel like another thing that you have to do before you can coach. I'm like, no. It's a place from which you can go and coach, from which you can go and talk to people. And so I'm trying really hard to talk about it in that way, that it's not a place of like, well, I got to go there today. It's like, no. Go do your work and then come back and be here to collaborate and connect and share ideas and feel support and feel safe. All from Kara having this language of knowing what your strengths and values are, because we're always going to circle back to that. Well, what should I do next? Well, what are some possibilities? What are your values and strengths? Because there's no right way, but there's a right way for you. So it is important, I think, for all of us to be centered in that.